Be me, 29 years old. Been with my girlfriend for about 2 years now. She asks me to come to her cousin's wedding reception. Says it will be a good chance to meet more of her family. Tell her sure, sounds good. Ask if there is anyone I have not met yet. She says her younger cousin will be there. The one she has mentioned before but never introduced me to. Drive to the venue together on a Saturday evening. Her aunt and uncle greet us at the door. Nice people, very warm and welcoming. Introduce us to various relatives as we walk in. Then they introduce me to the cousin. She is 25, very pretty, and immediately very friendly toward me. Almost too friendly right from the start. We sit down at the reception table. Girlfriend is on my left. Cousin ends up directly across the table from me. Cousin keeps looking over at me throughout the meal. Like long eye contact holds that feel off. Girlfriend is chatting with her aunt and does not notice at first. Cousin asks me what I do. Tell her I am an architect at a firm in the city. She says that is amazing and she has always loved creative people. Says something about how rare it is to find someone with vision. Girlfriend glances over and tells cousin to relax. Cousin laughs and says she is just making conversation. But it continues the whole meal. Cousin keeps steering questions back to me. Asks where I grew up, what I like to do, what music I listen to. All of it directed only at me. Girlfriend is getting visibly tense but stays quiet. I tried to give short, polite answers and redirect elsewhere. Notice cousin leaning forward across the table toward me. Like physically leaning in more than any normal conversation requires. Girlfriend taps my knee under the table. I nod once so she knows I am not encouraging any of it. Uncle asks me about travel and whether I have been overseas. Tell him I went to Portugal last year and loved it. Cousin jumps in saying she loves Portugal too. Says it is her favorite country in Europe. Girlfriend looks at her and says she has never been to Europe. Cousin gets a little defensive and says she has always wanted to go. Girlfriend says that is not what she said a moment ago. Uncle looks confused by the sudden tension between the two of them. Aunt quickly changes the subject to the wedding cake. After dinner, some of the men go outside to look at Uncle's restored motorcycle. Cousin follows along without being invited. Stands right next to me the whole time. Uncle is explaining the engine work and restoration process. Cousin keeps brushing her arm against mine while asking questions. Not accidental, too consistent to be accidental. Uncle is completely focused on the bike and does not notice. Girlfriend comes outside and sees the situation immediately. She walks over and links her arm through mine. Asks if I want to come get some dessert inside. Say yes immediately and we go back in together. She whispers asking if cousin is being strange with me. Tell her yes, a little, but I am just being polite. She says cousin always does something like this. Ask her what she means by always. She says not to worry about it right now. But I feel uneasy knowing this is apparently a known pattern. We go back inside and cousin is already on the couch. She pats the empty seat beside her and looks at me. Girlfriend sits there instead without hesitating. Cousin's face does something complicated for a second. Rest of the evening cousin backs off noticeably. Things calm down and the night ends okay. We drive home and girlfriend apologizes for the cousin situation. Tell her it is fine and I can handle a little awkward flirting. We get home and watch something together and decompress. Girlfriend falls asleep on my shoulder around 11. Phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Open it and read the first line. Says, hey, it is the cousin from tonight. Stomach immediately drops. How does she have my number? Second text comes in saying she got it from the seating card registry list. Apparently my number was on a shared contact sheet for the event. Next text says she just wanted to get to know me better. Then another one comes in saying girlfriend does not need to know she reached out. Sit there staring at the screen for a moment. Think about whether to tell girlfriend now or wait until morning. Decide I am not keeping anything from her. Wake her up gently and hand her the phone. She reads the messages and her face goes from sleepy to furious in about 4 seconds. She grabs her own phone and texts cousin immediately. Tells her to stop contacting me and that this is completely out of line. Cousin writes back saying she was just being friendly. Says there is nothing wrong with reaching out. Girlfriend tells her it is inappropriate and to leave me alone. Cousin says fine, whatever, and goes quiet. Girlfriend is upset for a while before going back to sleep. Tell her it is not her fault her cousin pulled this. She says cousin has always been jealous of her. Says it goes back to when they were kids. Says cousin used to take her things and copy everything she did growing up. Says in school cousin would go after guys she liked first. Tells me this is just the same pattern in a different situation. Tell her I am not interested in her cousin at all. She says she knows, but cousin does not really care about that. Says cousin just wants what she has because it belongs to her. Feel bad that I am sitting in the middle of their family history. Few days pass and cousin texts me again. Just a casual hey, how are you, acting like nothing happened. Ignore it and tell girlfriend immediately. Girlfriend calls her on the phone this time. Can hear her from the other room, voice raised. Girlfriend comes back and says cousin promised to stop. Tell her I hope so because this is getting exhausting. She says if cousin does it again, she will have a real problem. Week goes by with nothing. Things feel normal again. Girlfriend invites me to her aunt's birthday dinner. Really do not want to go but cannot reasonably say no. Drive over and cousin is already there when we arrive. Cousin sees us and acts completely normal. No flirting, no leaning in, no loaded eye contact. Barely speaks to me at all during dinner. Actually seems to be going out of her way to avoid me. Feel genuinely relieved. Girlfriend seems more relaxed than she has been at a family event in weeks. Dinner goes smoothly the whole way through. Cousin is talking to her mom about her job. Girlfriend and I are talking to uncle about travel again. Think maybe the situation finally sorted itself out. After dinner, everyone moves to the living room for drinks. Cousin is sitting on the far side of the room, which is fine by me. Girlfriend gets up to help aunt bring out some pastries from the kitchen. The second she disappears around the corner. Cousin gets up and walks directly over and sits next to me. Leans in close and says quietly that she has not stopped thinking about me. Tell her she needs to stop this right now. Tell her girlfriend is literally in the next room. She says girlfriend does not need to know anything. Tell her there is nothing between us and there is never going to be. She puts her hand on my leg and says she knows I felt something too. Stand up immediately and take a step back from the couch. Girlfriend and aunt walk back in at that exact moment carrying the tray. Girlfriend looks at cousin sitting where she was. Her expression shifts immediately. Cousin acts completely casual and says she was just asking me about architecture. Girlfriend does not buy it and we leave shortly after that. In the car, she asks me what cousin said. Tell her everything, the whispering, the hand on my leg, all of it. She starts crying quietly. Says she cannot believe cousin did it again after promising to stop. Says cousin has always done this her whole life. Says cousin takes and has never once respected what belongs to others. Feel awful that I am the thing they are fighting over now. Tell her I support whatever she wants to do. She says she is going to confront her tomorrow. Next day they have a huge argument on the phone. Can hear girlfriend's voice through the wall, not words but the tone. She comes out and tells me cousin denied everything. Said I was the one who was flirting with her. Girlfriend tells her she believes me and hangs up. Few hours later cousin texts me. Says I ruined their relationship by opening my mouth. Says I should have just kept quiet. Says girlfriend always gets everything good and she deserves to be happy too. Screenshot every single text and send them to girlfriend without responding. Girlfriend calls her parents and tells them the whole story from beginning to end. Her aunt and uncle are shocked and visibly disappointed. They tell cousin she owes us both an apology. Cousin refuses and says everyone is taking sides against her. Says girlfriend is just threatened because I might have feelings for cousin. Aunt and uncle tell her until she can behave like an adult she is not welcome at events. Girlfriend is sad that her family is fractured but knows it is not her fault. Few weeks pass. Aunt and uncle call girlfriend to talk things through. Say they sat down with cousin and heard her version of everything. Cousin had apparently told them I was the one pursuing her the whole time. Girlfriend sets the record straight and mentions I have screenshots. Aunt and uncle say they believe girlfriend because they know cousin's history with. They apologize to both of us for the disruption. Promise to make sure cousin understands boundaries going forward. Month goes by. Cousin finally texts girlfriend with an apology. Says she was in a difficult place personally and acted out. Girlfriend accepts it, but tells her she cannot be around me unsupervised anymore. Cousin agrees and says she understands. Next family event comes up. Girlfriend asks if I am okay going knowing cousin will be there. Tell her I will go, but she has to stay close. She promises not to leave me alone at any point. We arrive and cousin is already there with aunt and uncle. Cousin sees us walk in and immediately looks uncomfortable. She goes to the kitchen and stays there for a while. Aunt pulls girlfriend aside and whispers that cousin will behave tonight. Party goes well. Cousin keeps to the opposite end of whatever room I am in. Never approaches, never makes eye contact, just does her own thing. Girlfriend notices and says quietly that this is how it should have always been. Few months pass with the same dynamic at family events. Cousin either skips them or leaves early. Girlfriend sometimes feels guilty about the distance between them. Tell her she does not have to choose between us. Offer to skip certain events so they can have family time. She refuses and says I am her partner and I belong there. Her parents back her up and remind her that cousin made the choices that led here. Few months after that, cousin starts seeing someone new. Girlfriend mentions it and says maybe this will help cousin move on. Tell her, I hope so because the tension at gatherings is still awkward. Next family dinner, cousin brings the new boyfriend along. He seems like a decent person. Cousin is laughing and leaning into him all evening. Girlfriend watches and then whispers to me that maybe it is finally over. Tell her it really looks that way. Cousin does not look at me once during the entire dinner. Does not try to sit near me or start conversations. Feel like I can actually breathe normally at a family event for once. Girlfriend is smiling in a way she has not at these dinners in a long time. Few months later, girlfriend tells me cousin is engaged. She seems genuinely happy for her, which is a good sign. Ask her if she thinks things will go back to normal now. She says she thinks so and she is glad the drama is behind them. We go to a family dinner to celebrate the engagement. Cousin is showing everyone the ring and talking about venues and flowers. She comes over to us and says congratulations to girlfriend. Then looks at me and says it is good to see me. Tone is completely normal, no edge, no subtext, just normal. Girlfriend squeezes my hand under the table. Think about how close this whole mess came to ending us. If I had hidden even one text or smoothed anything over, it would have collapsed. Honesty was the only thing that kept it from getting worse. Girlfriend's trust in me is stronger now than it was before all of this. Her parents respect me for how I handled it. Cousin gets married a few months after the engagement. We are invited to the wedding. Girlfriend asks if I am comfortable going. Tell her yes because cousin seems genuinely different now. We go and it is a nice ceremony. Cousin is completely focused on her husband the whole day. At the reception, she comes over to us at our table. She apologizes again, quietly and sincerely this time. Says she was in a really bad place back then and took it out in the worst way. Says she is genuinely happy now and glad to see girlfriend and I still together. Girlfriend hugs her and says she forgives her. Year later and things are actually normal at family events. Cousin and her husband come to things and it is just fine. No tension, no weird moments, no loaded glances across the table. Girlfriend is happy that her family feels whole again. We get engaged ourselves not long after. Cousin finds out and texts girlfriend a genuine congratulation. At our wedding, cousin gives a speech. Talks about how much she loves her cousin. Acknowledges without saying it directly that she made mistakes. Says I am exactly right for her and she is so glad things worked out. Girlfriend cries during the speech. The good kind of crying. Think about how one dinner started all of it. One person deciding that what someone else had was worth taking. But honesty and not tolerating nonsense kept it from winning. Sometimes the person causing the problem insists you are the problem. Sometimes the screenshots are the entire argument. And sometimes the cousin flirting with you at the engagement party ends up giving a toast at your wedding.